Guys, gals, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name's Liquid Hotshot and we are here back on Formula 1 2019 for our McLaren career mode. As you can see, the first clip is me in practice. I thought, you know what, I said in the last episode at Azerbaijan during the race that I had put force feedback on. Now, what I'm doing here is just effectively putting it on for you guys. In the first 4 races, I felt confident in the car, but when you can't feel anything through your steering wheel, what's the point? So I thought 100% was too violent on me anyway. So I knocked it down to 50%. So I can get a feel of the car, but it's not gonna absolutely tire me out if it is on 100%. But anyway, here we go. At the Spanish Grand Prix, I didn't show any of the R&D devs, but I do believe coming into this episode, I think I got like a rear downforce or like a front downforce upgrade, or maybe a chassis upgrade. I'm not quite sure, but what I do know is it wasn't an engine upgrade. So yeah, we're just here in the garage and we're going to go for a flying lap. And I just wanted to effectively show you guys this. Yeah. In practice, here at Spain, obviously, with having force feedback on for the first time, I wasn't spinning out at that corner coming into sector 3. I normally, as soon as you go over that curb, like I don't know how many times I spun out in previous games on the controller. But I did a lot. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed Spain. I'd effectively, the day that I recorded Azerbaijan, I'd done practice quali in the race for Azerbaijan, and then I did also practice quali in the race for Spain. So it was a very good productive day. We're talking a couple of weeks back now. With these, because I've had a lot, I've got a lot of stuff, coming out, different type of content. So I just thought, well, why not get in front? And I think I've just finished the French Grand Prix. So yeah, but anyway, this is a corner that caught me out in practice, catching too much of that curb and then just binning it. When your car slides over the curb, there's not much traction on your rears. So anyway, we're jumping into qualifying now on the flying lap here, and yeah, I'll show you guys my 2 best laps from qualifying in general. Not all of them, because I'm not sure. I think I might have gone out twice in Q3, but yeah, I'll show you guys anyway. See you in a bit. Alright, so this is the first lap of my Q1 session. I'm going to walk you through this lap. So full throttle down, the start, finish straight. Brake relatively late into turn 1 because you got a bit of, it's kind of uphill, and then coming through the left and right, left, right. I have to pull off a little bit on the what is normally a flat out right-hander. Coming into the end of sector 1, setting a decent time through there, felt a little bit confident. Coming into sector 2 now, try and hug that apex as much as you can to get a wider exit so you can put your power down early. Now this is the corner that had been catching me out, so yeah, anyway, I went wide into that corner, not on purpose, just my angle of the car, and then I got the rear end stepped out a little bit, but I figured out that on the going up the hill, drop down a gear is better for me, get a better acceleration. Anyway, clip your apex there, make sure you don't take the actual bollard with you, jump over that curb, and that's basically it for sector 2. Coming into the final couple corners here at Spain, try and hug the corners as much as you can. I actually jump over the third one there to try and gain as much time. Hug your apex if possible on there, because you can get a bad exit. But anyway, that was a decent time. Now I go ahead and accelerate. I actually did a second lap after that, which wasn't, I think I was like 4 tenths down on the original lap I did. It wasn't any good. So yeah, I was skipping ahead and it wasn't going to be good enough. I was sat P18, and that's, yeah, like I just said, that's not good enough. You saw me do the contract at the end of last episode, meaning that I have to qualify. Basically, I have to get into Q3 or just be outside of Q3 for my team to be happy with my qualifying performance. So we decide at the end of the session to jump out on a fresh set of softs to see if we can smack down any more time through here. So we've got 2 minutes left of the session to try and perfect a lap here and get ourselves into Q2 here for Spain. So we come through the last couple corners of the drive out lap, coming on to the flying lap itself. Well, no, it wouldn't be the drive out lap, would it? It'd be flying lap. Anyway, come across the line. Already had a better exit out of the final corner, pushing me quicker down the final start-finish straight, as that's why the delta time is up. We're going to brake even later that time, hit the apex, boom, and hit it again. And coming through the flat out right-hander, just going to lift off a tad early so you don't go as wide and off the circuit, so you can put the power down again on early. Braking in here, broke late, but I still managed to keep my apex. You kind of coast it a little bit through there and then put your throttle on as soon as you feel as confident as possible. Coming wide to turn in early to get the best acceleration out of that sweeping left-hander. Coming up the hill now, which caused me a lot of problems. Get a little bit of oversteer there. The back end stepping out once again on that corner. Losing a bit of time, but not much. Anyway, we're coming back onto what I call the back straight anyway. Braking very late, missing the apex by a mile, actually heading wide. We keep it on the track though, for the most part. Coming round the final few corners here of the third actually flying lap, because I think I used the same set of softs. I think with my back, I think I did back-to-back laps on the first and second run, so my tyres were just degged. But anyway, we're going to come across the start-finish line here, and it's going to be P15, I do believe that says, and I don't know. I think I go for another one here, but this time I'm behind Vettel, so I'm hoping that Vettel gives me a little bit of slipstream around here. Once again, off the power, on the power, through the right-hander there, up the hill. I don't know whether this lap was any better, but I thought, well, Vettel were gaining on me the whole lap, so I thought, why not let Vettel pass, see if we can pick up a bit of toe during the lap and see if it's any good for us, if it helps us improve the time anyway. Actually, I hugged a lot of that left-hand curb and I didn't slide out. That was actually the first time I hadn't slid out using that much curb. Coming in to the back end of the qualifying session, I felt really confident, you know, with the car. Obviously, I'm going slower. Same set of softs. They've degraded. But as you can see, coming into Sector 3 now, we are into green on delta time. And we were losing time throughout that last lap. And coming through Sector 3, I just gained quite a bit of time. And I don't know why specifically I actually gained that time. But what I do know is that we actually come across the line once again, and it's P14, and we got through into Q2 effectively by the skin of our teeth, because I didn't know who was behind me at the point in the qualifying session. But I'm just having a look, and it was Charles Leclerc. So Charles Leclerc had, you know, not the strongest of sessions behind me in the Ferrari car, but he was on the mediums. I don't know why he went on mediums on the first qualifying, but yeah, he had a bit of a meh, I guess. But yeah, we got through into Q2 by the skin of the teeth, and I'll see you guys when I. So coming into Q2 then.
We're losing hydraulic pressure. There's a leak somewhere in the system. Sit tight for a bit.
Jeff lets us know that we're losing a hydraulic pressure, which is not good whatsoever. So we're going to be out of the session for 7 minutes. So effectively, this only allowed me either to do one fresh one on one set of, I think it was the last set of softs I had, or do back-to-back laps and hope that the second lap was better than the first. But as you can see, I'm just looking here, and yes, I only have. Jesus Christ, Jeff, shut up. That's my thought about Jeff this year. He needs to be quiet. Anyway, like I was saying, we only had one set of new soft tyres, so we go ahead, strap them on, and we're gonna see what damage we can or cannot do. I'm not too sure actually how much time we had left in this session. I don't know whether we had like just over 5 minutes or it was more like 7. But I go out effectively straight away because hopefully, you know, people had already set banker laps, so you know the track was relatively grippy. So anyway, I'll walk you through this lap as well. So we come down to turn 1, we effectively go straight wide, but we hug the apex and we spin it, and we lose our front wing, and yeah, surprise, surprise. It is very difficult in this game to hug curbs. If the game punishes you, and as you can see, I just thought, you know what, that's not happening. I deserve a better position than that. But yeah, I'll jump to you guys when I actually do my lap and come across the line. So I jump back with you. Yes, guys, I may have cheated, but as you can see, didn't hug too much curb there. Drop the throttle, come straight through in sector 1 here, up the hill, and yeah, you'll see as we come round the corner. 5 minutes left of the session, so yeah, that 7-minute hydraulic fail actually could have squandered my chances of getting into Q3 here. So anyway, we're coming through sector 2 now. We're going to brake late, hug that apex, get a little bit of understeer. I'm noticing that the back end's going out. I think I was messing a lot with the downforce setup that was running here. At least I think it was this circuit. Yeah, I think it was this circuit in Monaco I was messing about with my downforce. I just couldn't find a good setup with my front and back wing angles, and like some of the corners I'd stick to the corner like glue, but then other corners like the left-handers coming up through sector 2, I'd just be sliding like Tokyo Drift. But anyway, we come across the line and it's P13, and I thought, well, we need to go again. That's not good enough to get us into Q3, but I wasn't even sure if we were going to get into Q3 at this point with the degraded tyres. Anyway, hugging a lot of curb there just to show you guys you can hug curbs now and then, but you don't do it all the time. We had a very good run through the right-hander up the hill, brake late here, hit the apex, doing very well. Well, we're actually down on the delta time, but it felt so much stronger up in the first sector, but I didn't know where I lost most of my time in the last lap effectively. So anyway, we come through into sector 2, hugging that curb, less understeer and less squirming at the back end through there, drop down into 5th gear, give me some decent acceleration on the straight, DRS open, coming down the back straight into sector 3 now. We're going to brake late and we're going to hit the apex because, you know, we are the best. Anyway, going over that curb, and that's the second lap binned. I was pushing very hard to try and see if I could do anything about it, but it looks like, ladies and gents, it's going to be P13 for us in the race tomorrow, and yeah, that's effectively it. Pushing my card too hard and it couldn't handle it, so I spun out, back end just lost, and I couldn't correct it as we damaged front wing as we come in relatively aggressive into the speeding lane. So yeah, see you guys at the race. So here we are on the starting grid. Jeff's just letting me know to be a bit cautious, but anyway, we started P13 of 20. Charles Leclerc in second. Don't know what happened there, but 5 red lights and away we go. It's a decent start, but everyone in front of me is just absolutely gone. As a Toro Rosso of Lucas Weber and Robert Kubica of the Williams go around my outside. I think Raikkonen was having a look at me, but anyway, we get held up coming through the right-hander as these two are going side by side, making me lose loads of time. So anyway, I pull to the inside, see what we could do here, clip my front wing. It was a bit aggressive on my half, not gonna lie, but Kubica's, you know, sticking it to me. But I stay to the inside, squeeze him out, go to the outside, coming through the left-hander, almost absolutely T-boned Romain Grosjean in the Haas car in front of me, so, you know, better move out of the way. But anyway, it was a decent start. You know, we went to one position, but initially we lost 2, so we're already into P12, which is nice for us. Team expects, I think it's 11th or 9th or something. But anyway, coming through Sector 2, again getting held up. I think that's Devon Butler in the racing point, and I don't know whether he got a bit of damage or whether he's just slow around here. That's another question to be seen. But definitely for mine, Weber's and Butler's return to the Spanish Grand Prix after the F2 race here, but it's not too bad of a start for me anyway, as the both Racing Point and the Haas car just pull away on the straights. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't exactly ram into them. This is not Wreckfest, ladies and gents, as I go wide there because of my front wing damage. But yeah, at this point it's about consistency, trying to keep consistent with my damage. You know, don't be too aggressive, don't be too passive, and just keep the moves. Try and keep the moves coming. If not, you know, you've just got to dig in, settle back, come back in, and go for it again effectively. As we actually tapped Grosjean there. It was only a kiss, Grosjean, so don't get too mad, Arcid. Anyway, coming through the flat out right-handed, normally Grosjean's going to move to the right-hand side of Devon Butler. He's going to go side by side to the end of Sector 2 here, and he actually got the job done round the outside. What a geezer, but Devon's kept his nose in, but he's finally tucked in behind, and I'm actually going to have a little pop of him there, but there was no room for me. I shouldn't have even attempted that, but I'm going to go for that one. Hop the curb, don't even care, straight up into P11. See you later, Devon. I may as well start calling you Devon Dream Custard, mate, because your moves are cold. They're not good enough. They're not good enough to stay in this hot climate, mate. Anyway, moving on to lap 3. Again, setting another fastest lap as the Toro Rosso and Racing Point of Devon Butler, and I think it's Alex Albon. Oh no, it's Lucas Weber and Devon Butler behind me. The F2, the current reigning F2 world champion. Both close up to me on the straights, but lap 3 DRS is now available. If I'm 1 second behind Grosjean in any of the zones. So yeah, like I said, it's a bit of consistency and like damage limitation to my race. Throughout this race, Jeff is going to let me know how warm my engine was, and I didn't kind of realise how much. It was like at 60% at this point, and you'll see where I swapped the parts later on in a couple episodes. But yeah, I'll jump back with you guys when something, I guess, important's happening. So I'm actually going to come back to you on the very next lap, lap 4, and we actually got a really good tow from Grosjean there. I'm going to stick my hand up. He's not leaving me the space, but we gained so much time on him on the start-finish straight that with DRS, and I think I used a bit of rich mix, I was able to go late on the brakes and just dive bomb him to the inside, and there was nothing that he could do. The Frenchman could not defend against the Englishman, because we all know I'm called the Stig. Alright, that's just well-known knowledge. That legitimately shouldn't have said that. I should have just said it's just a well-known fact, or it's a well-known opinion. But I am the Stig, and you guys should know it, because I've already left Grosjean in the dust, and I'm not even sure why. I think he's on the same compound of tyres as me, but obviously because the fastest time I set in Q2 2 was on a fresh set, and I only effectively did 1.5 laps, and then because I've been the second, I wasn't pushing. So yeah, that was nice. Anyway, we're into P10 now, into the points playing position as we come on to lap 5. But again, we're going to jump back with you guys when something else is happening. So I jump back with you guys on lap 7 of 17 here, as we have actually caught up to, there was 3 of them. There was a Toro Rosso, and then a Racing Point, and then Hulkenberg. But I think Perez pitted, and Hulkenberg went extremely slow through that uphill right-hander, so I had to lift off, and he's just pulled away from me at this point. But I do believe both of us are pitting this lap, and yes, Jeff's letting me know that we're pitting this lap here, so just don't do anything stupid effectively, as I've seen, so this current series, like, our car is better than the Renault car, I think, and that's just stupid, because technically, like we're the McLaren Renault team, and Renault are the works team, but our car's better than theirs. Anyway, we're braking, actually get a bit more from wing damage, but we're just from shoving into the back of Hulkenberg, but we did that for good measure, just to let him know we were there. Anyway, we're going on to the mediums to last us to the end of the race. Also, a new front wing's being placed on, and here we go outside of the pits. And Grosjean, I think, is either still out and hasn't pitted, or he's already pitted and he's jumped us. I'm not too sure actually what went on there. I wasn't paying attention to Grosjean in the race really after I passed him, because I kind of just left him for dust. But anyway, we come out behind Lucas Weber in the Toro Rosso Honda car. He's on the mediums. He may have pitted, he may have started the race on mediums. I'm not actually sure at this point, but he is slow in comparison to me. Look at that acceleration we get through the corner. We're able to stay with him through this section, and he doesn't brake test us like Hulkenberg does, so we don't lift off, and we come through here. We get a DRS. It's going to give us a nice little bit of acceleration, but that Toro Rosso car isn't shabby, as Lucas Weber locks up into that left-hander. He's feeling the pressure. He's feeling the pressure of me chasing him down and going to take his position. He knows that's going to happen. As we're old teammates, he knows that I'm like a hound at the wheel. He knows that I will pass him wherever, whether it's on the outside, the inside, like over him, under him. Like he doesn't even know where it's going to happen. He just knows it's going to happen as we get a really nice slipstream down the start finish straight with DRS. We look to the inside, but we're just not close enough, and I didn't want to go late on the brakes and absolutely shoot it. But anyway, he knows it's going to happen, and as we come through the flat right-hander, we get that traction and accelerated needed, and we're side by side with Weber. We're going to late brake and just dive bombing straight down the inside of that next right-hander, and now we are back up into the points playing positions, coming into lap 9. So we're looking steady on these medium sets of tyres. I felt as though I had a bit more pace on them. Obviously, more grip throughout a stint rather than a little bit of grip throughout a little stint. So naturally, I felt more comfortable with the car. And on practice, I didn't feel comfortable with it on hards or on softs. So mediums for me were like my little pet. It was like really nice to drive. But yeah, as we're saying, PB, Sector 1 and Sector 2 times, coming through to the last corner, we have none other than the king of late breakers himself, Danny Rick, in the Renault in front of us, and I don't know whether he's stuck behind his teammate. I'm not actually not sure. But Lucas Weber sends it. Just look at that. He's just gone flying, mate. Just absolutely gone. Like he's gone to space bush. Just blitzed straight past us, had DRS wide open, probably we're using Rich Mix there anyway. But once again, we're going to get him on the flat out right-hander. We're going to pull to the side of him, and we're going to brake really late that time. And we just send it once again, the same corner, and he knew it would come in because I did it last time round when I was behind him. But anyway, it's a nice little battle with Weber. I don't think I'd had like a biggish battle with anyone since Bahrain, probably because China was a snooze fest and Bajan I was sitting at the back all race, so that wasn't exactly fun, wasn't Azerbaijan. But obviously looking at this race, we're currently bouncing back. We are currently in the points once again as we set fast PBs in sector 1 and sector 2 with 7 laps to go. We're looking good. Alright, and Weber's kind of slowing down at this point, you know. We've had a bit of a fight, but I don't know whether he comes back at me, and once again I'm kind of feeling pressured by Weber as I go wide into the first left-hander there. But anyway, we come across and look, he's looking like an absolute bullet. I whack it into Rich Mix and I pull to the side to break the toe, and then I come back onto the racing line, drop it back down into standard mix. I leave him the room, but he doesn't go down the inside, and he slots straight back behind me as we come through the flat out right-hander. And because he wasn't showing much pace going through the corner, he doesn't attack me because he's lost that time against me in all 3. Like, he loses time in that flat out right-hander, and I realised that after the second time round, so I was like, alright, so we'll just push on now. But yeah, that was a nice little scrap with our good old friend Lucas Weber, the German. But yeah, I'll jump to you guys back when there's even more action. So I jump back with you guys almost 2 laps later as we have caught up to Danny Rick, and I don't know whether he started the race on the mediums, but he is going very slow. He's probably going to box this lap and go onto a set of softs for the final 5 laps. But I'm not entirely sure as I look for a way around the outside. But Luke, there is no way around the outside, and he hasn't come into the pits, so he's just naturally slow on these medium sets. As we get an absolute amazing exit through the last corner, we're gonna pull to the side, but I don't have the acceleration, so we're gonna slot back into the slipstream, and he's just pulling away from me. So I'm like, you know what, Danny Rick, I'll go relatively late on the brake, go round your outside of turn 1 and get the job done. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just moved up into P9 at the Spanish Grand Prix, and I absolutely love that move. I think I've watched it back about 3 times. Yeah, when you can do something like that, like confidently in a relatively default car like the McLaren, you know, with the relatively non-upgraded car from the start of the season, you know, obviously a couple upgrades here, a couple upgrades there, but when you can do that confidently and you feel as though you can do it, it puts like very little doubt in your mind that they can actually come back from a move like that. Anyway, it is Hulkenberg in front of him. So Rick, when I mentioned Danny Rick before, he was actually sat behind Renault. So Renault could have been in for about, I think, 4 or 5 points at the end of this race, but now they're looking at about 3. And if I overtake Hulkenberg, they're going to be looking at about 2. So that's going to be absolutely lovely if we can score some points against the Works team itself. Obviously, like I've said before, we have the McLaren Renault team. They supply our engines. But Danny Rick's nowhere to be seen on the start-finish straight. But I actually noticed going into this lap, looking behind me in the camera, you can actually see my engine smoking a little bit. And that's because it's worn. I was checking my temps and I don't think my engine was overheating, but I think it was just worn, so you know, it wasn't in the best of conditions anyway. And obviously when you're pushing it to the limit every single lap, you know, it's not going to survive for long in that condition anyway. As we come back up to Hulkenberg in the same corner. You know, he's losing a bit of time here and there, but me and him sticking together, me getting decent acceleration there through the uphill right-hander as we brake late. We're going to stick behind him. I wasn't too sure whether I was going to pull to the left or to the right to look for a move, but I thought, well, we're just going to wait a minute, because if we get a good decent exit out of the last corner onto the finish straight, we're going to smoke him, hopefully, kind of like how we kept up with Ricciardo and did that move into turn 1. As yes, we get a decent exit, but not as good as Hulkenberg. DRS is open. We are aided. I've turned my engine up to rich mix. You know, getting a nice little tow from the German, closing right up to him in turn 1 and turn 2, staying with him. And I don't know whether he's going to lift off in the flat right-hander. Yes, he is. So I'm going to absolutely go for that on his right hand side, but he covers me off, so I decide, you know what, we're going to go around the outside, we're going to ease the throttle around, and yes, he covers me off there. A little bit of a tap between us, but you know, he's just letting me know he's there, so I don't forget about him. But anyway, we get a really nice exit through the left hander there, close up to him once again through here, almost lose the car there, and I was just a bit, you know, trying to be a bit too aggressive on some of the corners, but Danny Ricks fell behind quite a bit now, so I don't have to worry about me and Hulkenberg losing too much time and dropping back into Ricciardo's hands, as effectively the time that I lost going up the hill, I've effectively gained straight back, you know, with him going early on the brakes and such. But yeah, we get a nice exit through there, hugging the apex once again, and yeah, look at that exit. We've got DRS here, whack it up into rich mix, gaining, and we're going to pull to his side. This time we've got the acceleration to stay with him. We're going to brake late, go to his inside, he's going to slot in behind us, and that's another move going into lap 16 now. We've moved up into P8, and the race has gone from meh to good to great. Really getting a feel for the car in the last couple laps here, as we see Sergio Perez in the racing point just up ahead, and I wasn't too sure whether we could get the move done or not. Obviously we had effectively two laps left to get him, and at this point it was like more like 1.5, so I didn't know if we could close that gap, but I was pushing hard to get it anyway, to see if I could get it, as it looks like he goes slow through some of the high speed corners. So yes, he's got a very good Mercedes engine in the back of the car, but he doesn't look like he's as grippy as me in the corners, because in theory here I was running quite a high downforce setup. That's why most of the other cars could blitz straight past me on the straights, so that's why it was hard for me to keep up with them. That's why I had to stay in people's slipstreams like Hulkenberg and Ricks. Anyway, I hop that curb and lose a little bit of traction there, losing a bit more time to Perez, as we come through the final corner onto the very last lap of the Grand Prix here. As you can see, as I said earlier, the engine is smoking, and Hulkenberg is getting a really good run. He's going to go to the outside, absolutely do me, right? But I'm late on the brakes, and again, he can't stay with me on the outside there, because it goes, if you stay to the outside, then effectively you get to the inside of the next corner. But as we weren't side by side, and he wasn't that aggressive, he didn't get the job done. Anyway, we come through setting another PB on sector 1. We were breaking all the personal bests here in the dying couple laps, as I was ploughing on with very little fuel. The car's getting very light, so the car's getting quicker and quicker, especially up hills and down the hills. Anyway, coming into the end of Sector 2, start of Sector 3 now, we have closed up to Perez. We gained so much time in that braking zone. We really did attack that braking zone there. But anyway, we're going to look for a similar move we looked for on Butler earlier in the race, and we're going to tap him a little bit there, and we're going to go to the inside. We're going to dive bomb him, and we're just going to hop the curve and get the job done. It was relatively aggressive, but it was the last lap of the Grand Prix, and I thought, why not? And across the line, P7 from P13, 14 on the grid, and I was very pleased with myself. Really good performance by me and the McLaren guys.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result?
So it seems as though Claire's got some questions to ask us.
Let's have your take on it. That was a good race for Lucas. Are you pleased to see him doing well?
Yes, I am pleased to see him doing well. We had a very nice race there, so we're going to go with the left-hand side option. She's saying we gained a lot of positions. Yes, we did. The car felt very good round here, and we're going to compliment our aero department.
Great.
And that's all she's got to ask me. So yeah, we did a very good race there from P14 on the grid to P7 on the grid. The team's going to be happy with that one, especially after Azerbaijan's absolute nightmare, both in qualifying and in the race. It just didn't go well for me whatsoever. But yeah, that's about it, guys. I'm going to leave you with some of the R&D stuff and the results here with the rivalries with Devon, Butler and Lando. But anyway, guys, if you've liked the video, be sure to like it down below. It shows me all you guys' support. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more of the same and similar content on the channel. Press the bell button to know when I upload. You get a notification whenever, and comment what your favourite part of the video was, whether it was the stunning move around the outside of Danny Rick, as we get a compliment from the engineer. Yeah, and comment whether it was Danny Rick's, that really good move on Danny Rick, or it was that epic battle with our old F2 teammate Lucas Weber in the Toro Rosso Honda car. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace.